Texas Tech spent big in the transfer portal and put a team together that has a real shot to win the Big 12. And in today's video, we're going to discuss why 2025 is the most important season in Texas Tech football program history. Hey, how's it going, everybody? It's RC Maxfield here for the Back to 12 podcast. Appreciate y'all tuning in and maybe most importantly, staying patient with me in terms of we just moved. You can see the new digs in the background. Appreciate some of y'all reaching out and wondering where the content was. We're back. Again, it's the summertime, so we'll have 2 or 3 videos a week here on the channel, and you best believe in August we will be ramping it up. We'll probably start, honestly, next week with position previews for football, breaking down each and every position for Texas Tech and what to expect in 2025. So if that's something you're interested in and, well, just 100% free content surrounding your Red Raiders all year long, this is the place to be on the largest group of Texas Tech fans on YouTube in the Back to 12 podcast channel. All right. This video is going to be very open-ended, but I want to have the basic premise clear. And I think we all understand it. This is the most important season in Texas Tech football program history. And if you think, oh, RC, that's a lot to say, I promise you this, each and every person in that brand new, shiny, state-of-the-art $250 million football facility, right? They know it's the most important too, okay? And so we're going to look at how we got here in terms of how did we get to 2025 being the most important season in Texas Tech program history. Some of it, it's truly out of the Red Raiders' control, and we'll go ahead and start there. NIL. And what I mean in terms of out of their control is the modern landscape of college football. It is a reactionary business now. And credit to Texas Tech, they have reacted better than damn near any other athletic department in the country. Whether that's with Cody Campbell and other donors backing them, whether that's the strategic nature of Kirby Hocutt, who leads the Texas Tech athletic department, right? Texas Tech has been at the forefront of the NIL landscape in modern college athletics, whether that's on the gridiron, the hardwood, or anything in between. We just saw what happened for Texas Tech with the greatest show on dirt, right? With Nyjah Kennedy getting another contract, them going out and landing an All-American catcher, right? And they're not done, right? So you look at everything from that lens, and obviously the main sport of focus is going to be football. And we know that Texas Tech was the big spender, or at least one of them, in this last transfer portal. Why was that? Because Cody Campbell and crew saw an opportunity before the House settlement, which has now been approved, was enacted. They went out and saw a window where they could be the wild, wild west, right? And go in there and get guys on front-loaded contracts. And that is exactly what they did. And obviously there's a little bit more to it than that. But they went out and added guys that created the greatest portal class we have ever seen. That is not a hyperbole. That is just a simple, plain fact. And if anybody tells you differently, I encourage them to use this tool called Google. It's 100% free, just like this channel. Anyway, let's go ahead and look at it. See, this is what I'm talking about. This is unreal. You look at this in terms of adjusted NIL value. You have the Red Raiders at 5.6 million. Unreal type stuff. The index score is 30 points higher than any other school in the country, according to On3. You look at that. The difference between Texas Tech and LSU is greater than LSU to Auburn at 6. That's the difference there. So they go out and land multiple impact guys, whether that's David Bailey, the edge from Stanford, who has the chance to be a first-round pick. Arguably 2 of the best interior linemen on the defensive side, Lee Hunter. You've got Skylar Gill-Howard. You've got Holmes Jr. from Houston. Obviously, I said duo, but you have multiple guys now, and you built in the trenches. Speaking of the trenches, the offensive line, you went out and landed Hunter Zambrano, who was the first commitment of this portal class. Now you have expectations if you're Texas Tech. You have high expectations, not only from outsiders like myself, right? But more importantly, inside the building and inside the athletic department itself. How big are these expectations, and how well has Texas Tech done in terms of solidifying themselves at the forefront of NIL? Again, transfer portal is an NIL game now. Simple and plain. It is talent acquisition. That is what this sport has turned into, and that's why it was so pivotal for Texas Tech to keep a guy like James Blanchard. But how much at the forefront are the Red Raiders? Well, I would say a pretty good deal considering this headline. You obviously know it by now. This happened a while ago, early May, as you can see right there on your screen. You have Cody Campbell as a co-chair of the College Sports Commission alongside the GOAT in our sport in Nick Saban. Okay? Cody Campbell has been an innovator and forward thinker for a long time outside of the football space and just NIL in general. But now he brings that business knowledge that he has to what is now a business at the highest of levels, which is college football. So having a seat at the table is pivotal for Texas Tech. Why is it so pivotal to have a seat at the table? Let's face it, roster realignment and, conference realignment or whatever, it's not going to stop. And when I say roster, I obviously mean the transfer portal aspect of it. But conference realignment is not going to stop anytime soon. And Texas Tech, if we're being real about it, right, they're in the Big 12. The Big 12 is in a solid, decent position. But it's not the SEC. It's not the Big 10 in terms of where they're out from a revenue standpoint and long-term projectability. Okay? Big 12's in a solid spot now, but what does that look like 2 years from now? I think the Pac-12 thought they were in a pretty damn good spot just a few years ago, right? So Texas Tech has a seat at the table at the highest level with Cody Campbell. Now, what is the most important thing Texas Tech can do? It goes back to the aspect of 2025 being the most important season in Texas Tech football program history. They have to win. This is the most talented roster that the Red Raiders have ever had. That is not up for debate. And in fact, let's go ahead and look at a projected depth chart. This is from our lads, like, hey, take it with a grain of salt. But really the reason I'm putting this on your screen is look at all the yellow. All of those guys are transfers. Okay, so you got Reggie Virgil, a guy from Miami of Ohio, will be good to go week 1, could be a very, very good player in the slot and really just move around. He is a speedster, 4.4 legit speed. You've got Howard Sampson, a behemoth of a man at left tackle, right, at 6'8". You've got the aforementioned Hunter Zambrano. You've got Will Jados as well, who right now, this is where I kind of differ from what they're saying. I think Jados is probably the right tackle. Things can change, but we're just looking at the overall roster here. You got Terrence Carter Jr. You've got Quentin Joyner as well. We scroll down to the defensive side of it. Look at the projected defensive line. All of them are transfers. That's insane. And you had to go out and do that if you were Texas Tech because, again, you have to win this year if you're the Red Raiders. And we'll look at the win total here in just a second. But the thing is for me, in terms of why this year is so important, because if you win this year with this roster, not only do you have a great chance to make the college football playoff and even elevate your brand more, but I think it validates and gives you a better opportunity to be secure in that next wave of conference realignment, whatever that looks like, right? Because you look at the likes of Oregon State, who you're playing this year in a non-con game for football. They were left to dry, right? They were just left out to the pasture, and it's like, hey, figure it out, man, right? They lost millions of annual revenue to their athletic department. Texas Tech cannot be in that place, and nor do I think they would be, but I would rather everything be as close to secure and just a lock as possible than to question things. And winning this year on the football field will be pivotal for Texas Tech in that regard. And I think it's something that Texas Tech is in a good spot to do. As we look at the projected over-under win totals via Circa Sports out in Vegas, Texas Tech, one of 3 teams in the Big 12 with an over-under set at 8.5 alongside some of the state schools in Arizona State and Kansas State, Baylor not too far behind, BYU, Iowa State. It is a wide-open Big 12, okay? Wide open. But Texas Tech, right now, in my opinion, as I get back on the screen, they are the most talented roster in the Big 12, which makes this year even more pivotal in the sense of not all these guys are coming back, right? You think about some of the guys you landed in the portal. This is for 1 year, right? You pushed all your chips in. And this year can be that launching pad to security later on when the craziness happens. You're already at the forefront of the NIL space. You have a seat at the table in terms of the college committee that's making those types of decisions, with Cody Campbell being the co-chair alongside Nick Saban. But you need to have some security because of what happens on the field. This is a results-based business. And yes, it's a business now, okay? You have to win games if you're Texas Tech. And I think they will at a very high level, as we'll talk about them throughout all of the summer and then obviously when the games start in the fall. This team is talented as hell. This team is deep as hell. And this is the most important season in Texas Tech football program history. And I think this is the most talented team the Red Raiders have ever had. Those two combinations together is a good combination right there. But again, like I just said, it's a results-based business, and Texas Tech has to win some damn football games. In my opinion, you might have to get to double digits in this season to make it feel like a success. Bare minimum, you better be playing in DFW over in Arlington and Jerry World for a Big 12 title when the season's done. All right, let me know what you guys think in the comments down below. Do you think this is the most important season in Texas Tech football program history? Simple Y for yes, N for no. Let me know down on the pinned comment below your reaction to that statement. I think it's very clear, in my opinion, but I would love to hear from you guys. And while you're down there, be sure to like the video, hit that subscribe button, and turn on that notification bell for 100% free Texas Tech football, men's basketball, and everything in between here, well, on the largest group of Texas Tech fans on YouTube and the Back to 12 podcast channel. I'm RC Maxfield, reminding you, as always, to stay safe and Reckham Tech.